What is up, cheesy gang? Yes, sir. Now, moving on from the controversy that's surrounding Deepwoken and the mods, we're not talking about that again. You know what I'm saying? All of that, we're shrugging it aside. Because today we're actually going to be talking about why Deepwoken is actually the best game on Roblox. Why I think that is. We're going to be listening to reasons. We're going to be explaining and talking about everything. And I genuinely do feel like Deepwoken is the best game in Roblox. Now, if we push aside the lag and the ping spikes and the lag, you know what I'm saying, it really is up there. And I don't think anything's going to compete with it. Now, that being said, there is a bunch of good games coming out this year. And one of them is actually coming out next month. And the name of that game is Emblem Tales. You know, Emblem Tales is literally a month and 2 days away. And I can't wait to get my hands on that game and play it, to be honest with you. But until then, we are stuck with Deepwoken, and I'm not mad about that at all. So, without further ado, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new, turn on post notification bell so you know when I post, then play my intro! This is why Deepwoken is the best game on Roblox. Now, you might think my opinions are quite based, and they probably are, but with that being said, I have played a bunch of other games on Roblox, so it's not like I'm just, you know, nitpicking and stuff. And before Deepwoken, Grand Peace Online was actually the best game on Roblox, but times have changed. So first, we're actually going to talk about monsters in general. We could call them bandits too, etc. So no matter how strong the monster is, it's killable, and that is perfect, especially if you're a solo player, because it means you can actually play the game without needing a bunch of people to help you. It means you actually have a fair chance of progressing and getting drops and stuff along those lines without the game just being complete BS. Now, some examples of bosses that, or monsters, or just bosses in general that are just like crazy. NL from Grand Peace Online. And there's a whole bunch of other Grand Peace Online bosses and stuff along those lines, even on Blox Fruits and all the other One Piece games on the platform. Some, not all, some of the bosses are usually have skill sets and moves that are like ridiculous, and you genuinely can't. The only way to really, like, for example, Enel Raigo, and he uses Raigo. Only way to avoid Raigo is to either have Tech Eye or to literally run away. Like, literally run away, because the AoE is huge. You're gonna take damage. You run away. Those are the only two ways to avoid Raigo. There's no, you know, hidden ability, or maybe does Goragura's counter move work on that? No idea. However, stuff along those lines, even in Blox Fruits, there's a bunch of bosses that just have crazy abilities where you actually just have to take the hit, run away, or just try to completely avoid it by running away. However, in Deepwoken, this isn't the problem. This isn't even an issue, actually. Name the bosses, name the NPCs. Enforcer, you can literally parry dodge. Even one of the biggest bosses in the game, which is Primadon, is completely soloable if you're good and you know the attack patterns. And the reason why bosses and monsters and NPCs in Deepwoken are completely fightable, that actually is realistic to actually beat them by yourself, it makes sense, because every monster has a specific attack pattern that they follow. They are completely dodgeable or parryable. Sometimes you're even able to block the moves, but you're better off dodging and parrying. In this case, it makes the game more accessible for players, because you don't need a party of 50,000 people in order to beat the boss, or you don't need a full squad. You can completely play the game by yourself. And sometimes, at least for me, I love playing Deepwoken by myself because I get the EXP and the luck. I don't want a squad full of people there to beat the boss with me and they steal all my loot or they take the luck. or I get less EXP is not favorable. So you're kind of rewarded for playing the game by yourself, and knowing that you're actually able to play the game by yourself because the bosses are not spamming abilities is genuinely satisfying. Next, we do have progression. Now, progression is, it's enjoyable. It makes Deepwoken enjoyable. It makes Deepwoken replayable. It makes everything satisfying. Now, what do I mean by progression? I mean powering up, aka leveling up. Now, there is a lot of things that go into actually gaining a level, gaining a power, and increasing your player's level. It's not just, okay, so for example, again, I'm going to use Blox Fruits and GPO because those are those two games have like a large player base, and they both use the RPG element of actually needing to level up to, you know, get stronger, right? On those games, all you really do is you level up and you put points into certain stats in order to make your character more powerful, and that's really it. It's kind of linear. It's, oh, you level up and you put points into your character, and then you level up again, you put points into your character, and they just deal a bunch of damage because you spammed a bunch of points in leveling, right? In Deepwoken, it's more than just, oh, you level up. So powering up, progressing has a bunch of different factors that go into it. Now, depending on your race and your boons and flaws, when you power up, you get 3 points. These points actually go into a specific stat, and there's quite a few to pick from. And depending on what you progress, which stat you progress the most, it depends on the cards you get every power. Now, every time you power / level up, you get cards, and depending on your stat page will give an RNG component to what cards you can draw. Again, if you have luck, which you can get from, you know, strong bosses or killing other players within your power level, you can get rare or legendary cards. Depending on your stats, again, depends on the rare and legendary cards you get. There's so much components that go into actually progressing your character. Not only that, let's say you've died and you have a rusty health bar. You're able to get your life back if you power up. And powering up isn't just as simple as you got EXP bar and you kill this mob and then, woo, your next level. It's, you need a certain amount of investment points. Sometimes you have 1 investment point and you get the you have 5 investment points and you get to 1, which means you only need 1 more investment point in order to power up. Sometimes you get the power, sometimes you don't, and it will say 0 investment points. Within that 0 investment points, when you're within that, you know, situation, when you're in that situation, you are able to, well, you are not able to level up. And the reason for this is because you don't have enough EXP, which means you probably just put a bunch of points into something, or you progress slower than others. It just means you need to go around killing stuff. Go kill stuff, maybe explore the map a little bit, and you will get the EXP needed in order to power up, which incentivizes you actually exploring the game, because sitting in one place for too long will not level you up too fast. Very good. As well as this, there's just a whole bunch of other factors that go into builds, where you put your points, luck, progression, EXP, talents, mantras. There's so many things that go into progression. It's not just you level up and you put points in strength so you can spam your abilities and call it a day. There's so much that goes into every level, and sometimes some people, every level, they make sure they get a certain amount of luck so that they're guaranteed rarer cards every level. There's a lot of different factors, there's a lot of different ways you can play the game, and it just adds a huge amount of replayability. You might have played the game one way in your first life, but in your second life you decide to play the game a different type of way, and in your third life you might completely try to change that up too. There's so many different things you can do with progression. Next, we have player interaction. Now, you might think this is kind of, you know, it's not that huge of a deal, but coming from an era where I played GPO from update 0 till about now, player interaction is important, okay? And over time, the player interaction in Grand Peace Online has diminished. Now, from update 0 to about early update 2, player interaction was actually a huge thing, mainly because of, you know, people chilling in shells. You know, people were really socializing, starting wars with people just because of the fact that, hey, your crew looks stupid. There's so many different things that was happening during update 0 to early update 2, if let's just say update 1, because that's really how long it lasted. Update 0 to update 1, there was just so much going on. You're more likely to see people in public servers than private servers. It was a mix of everything. Not only that, even in private servers, people would host boss raids and no one would be toxic because everybody's genuinely trying to grind the boss. It was genuinely fun, and I feel like it's an experience that we're never going to get to relive again in Grand Peace Online. However, with Deepwoken, since there's no private servers, thank the Lord for that, players genuinely have to bump into other players. Now, whether you're met with hostility or maybe someone just completely ignores you, or sometimes you may even make a friend. There's been a lot of occasions where I'm a high level player and I see a bunch of noobs that, you know, are just doing their little thing, and I just go up to them and give them stuff. There's been a lot of occasions where I've just emptied out my inventory for some fresh spawns and they just said thank you, and they don't even know it's me because I'm playing on an alt account, you know. There's a bunch of different situations where someone's come to me and just given me stuff for no reason. They didn't even know it was me, etc. And me accidentally attacking someone because I thought they were a higher level than they are. Be wary of that, because sometimes they might be your power, but they lie and say, hey, I'm only power 10, but they're actually power 25, just so you don't kill them. You gotta pick and choose. Sometimes you can tell by the weapon they're using, or I mean, if they rush stat points in there, sometimes it might not be the case. But there's a lot of different factors. You got to be wary of people who lie about that stuff. But regardless, I attacked someone who was like 20 powers lower than me, and I was like, oh, my bad. Let him see. And in a situation like that, is it depending on that person who lives or dies. So the person that gets knocked, your life is in my hands, right? And depending on how you communicate with me, let me know whether I should let you live or not. There's times where I've accidentally knocked a person that's a bunch of power levels, you know, down than me, right? And I was genuinely gonna let them live once I found out what power level they were, but they started talking crazy. And once you start talking crazy, it's like, okay, I was gonna let you live, but now you deserve to die. RIP Bozo, because you don't know how to communicate with other human beings. Now, there have been situations where it's been a complete opposite, where I've knocked someone, they're like, oh, please, I'm genuinely only level 10, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, damn, I'm sorry, I didn't know. I thought you were a higher level. And I'll drop them. And if I have some good stuff in my inventory, just to compensate for me wasting their time, you know, lowering the blood, now they have to heal up, I'll give them stuff like some food. Maybe they might have food. Give them some food. Give them some weapons. I'm pretty sure I dropped the shattered katana for a random before, just because I knocked him, because I thought he was a higher level. Player interaction, bro. I'm telling you, running into players and having genuine interact. Even if you run up to someone just on some smoke, like you just want to fight them, and you end up having a really good fight. I had a really good fight with a heavy weapon user just yesterday, actually. He got me low, so our first interaction, I snuck attack him. We were both low, so I jumped in the ocean because I have fisherman and scuba drowner, and I just healed, and he healed up there because I heard him make the campfire. And then we met back up with each other again. See, in situations like this, I regret not recording. We met back with each other again. He got me low, so I went in the water. He chased me, and I was just healing with fishermen in the water. We were just going back and forth for a good 5 minutes until I finally knocked him. He was like, yo, how much health do you have, bro? But fisherman, bro, fisherman's OP. Again, talents like fisherman, you need high luck. Go out ganking people. Playing solo is really the way to go sometimes. But that player interaction, like, he wasn't even mad that I killed him. He was like, I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty fun, GG. And I said the same to him. Player interaction, stuff like that are experiences that will only happen in Deepwoken. Only in Deepwoken moment. Only in Battlefield, only in Deepwoken. We're mixing it up. But yeah, no, like, player interaction. This is stuff that you won't have happen in games where you can literally go from level 0 to level 425 in a private server with ×2 EXP. Cough, 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 cough. Indirect to GPO. But, you know, again, it's all about people's preferences and stuff like that. Now, I did have another point, which was magic. But if I start talking about magic, we'll actually be here all day. But just to summarize it, just even though everyone can get similar spells, the way you can edit your mantras, you know, makes it completely different. With the addition to deep gems, it adds a whole new twist to mantras and magic in general. But this video is kind of long, and I don't want y'all boys to sit here all day listening to me talk. I know some of y'all boys hate listening to my voice, but tune into the videos just to show love, and I appreciate that. So if you made it to the end of the video, let me know with the revolver effect in the comment section down below. You know what I'm saying? AGZ effect, revolver effect, whatever you want to say, man. Hey, I love y'all boys. Road to 50K. I'm gonna see y'all boys in the next one. Peace.